support truth, I support justice, and I support people who are doing any kind of activism for the right reasons. And that's most people in Oath Keepers, including our friend Ed Vallejo, who is being swept up in this thing right now. And if you've read the indictment that the FBI has put out about this, they don't really have a case against him. I mean, they're giving the highlights as these text messages about him being part of the quick reaction force on January 6th last year. But even then, there's very little in specifics. They really are reaching with the seditious conspiracy charge. And there are a lot of reasons. It's an absurd case that they're going to lose one way or another. And I hope that we're able to support our friend Ed through this process legally so that he can win a decisive victory and put all these criminals acting under color of law, as government law enforcement, in their place and, win a victory for truth. Because it's very dangerous, the precedent here that for what he was doing, he could be pulled out of his life a year later. Edward Vallejo is a Vietnam-era Army veteran. He's our program director for the Veterans Nonprofit here, Homefront Battle Buddies. He's 63 years old. He has no criminal record, practically at all, as far as I know, from what I've read in this case and what he's told me. I mean, I don't know, maybe he's got a parking ticket from something that he didn't pay when he was a teenager. I don't know, but it's basically no criminal record. Married 35 years to a wonderful woman that he has lived with in Phoenix most of the time they've been together. He has ties to the community, and as our program director, and this is, one of the most cruel consequences of what the FBI has done by ensnaring him in this is there were a number of veterans that he was working with various issues. One alcoholism, one heroin addict, one suicidal. Just the first three off the top of my head that he was talking to, and that support for those.
Support our troops. Free Ed Vallejo.
Those veterans is gone now because they've turned our friend Ed into a political football. There's no reason. I understand, hypothetically, if they wanted to charge him, if they wanted to try him, if they wanted to drag him through this, but to detain him, to hold him, he was arrested Thursday morning of last week. It is now Monday, and Martin Luther King Jr. Day. He has a detention hearing coming up this Thursday, and it's very important that we win his release here. Now, I'm not calling for some massive public support yet. We do need a little bit of money if someone wants to jump in, possibly to hire Mark Victor to replace Ed's public defender just for this detention hearing to get him out. And if that doesn't work, we're gonna be looking at raising funds to support a serious legal defense effort here. But for our strategy going into this hearing Thursday, we just want to make sure that whether it's his public defender or Mark Victor, his public defender, Debbie Jang, he seems to have at least some confidence in, but he's been very hard pressed to be able to communicate with her, to access his public defender at all since he's been locked up. And so he had a hearing by video conference on Friday. If you look at my Twitter, you can see that silly sketch artist rendition of our friend Ed. But they said, we're not going to release you. We're going to hold you for a detention hearing, specifically to determine your detention status. That's coming up this Thursday.
So, a handful of us are not trying to mob the courthouse. Been indicted for his role in the planning.
We don't want to turn this into a Trump rally or anything like that. And for the record, I am not now, nor have I ever been a Trump supporter, if that wasn't clear enough. But we want to make it clear to the federal judge in this case that even his detention is wholly inappropriate and a true affront to justice. So please stay tuned. Wherever you're watching this, I'm going to publish this video on Twitter and on my Telegram channel for Adam vs. the Man. Make sure it gets shared with our nonprofit channels for Homefront Battle Buddies. But we do need some help here as well. If anybody can help pick up some of the enormous slack that Ed has by no will of his own dropped here. We do need some help with what we have going here on the ground with Homefront Battle Buddies, with the Veterans Nonprofit, continuing to support veterans who are, at least, I don't say in our programs, but who are benefiting from, or were benefiting specifically from Ed's consultation, and some who were on their way here when he got arrested, whose logistics are like, well, who do we contact now? Well, hey guys, I'm still here. Adam's here. You can reach me, adam@thefreedomline.com. But Ed is not just 63 years old. He walks like it a little bit, and he is not being held in great conditions right now. And sleeping on a metal bunk isn't fun, no matter how healthy your back is. For him, he says it feels like even just having been locked up for half a week now, it's Thursday to Monday, he feels like his health is deteriorating. He says he's eaten every single calorie that they've allowed him to, that they've fed him, and it's still not enough. Next time he calls, hopefully I'll get a recorded message from him. This time we got cut off after talking for just about 13 minutes. So we just talked basic legal strategy for making sure that he is released on Thursday. So if anybody has any thoughts on that, to be helpful, if you can comment with Adam vs. the Man on our channel, we'll be discussing it there as we have been in the Producers Club. This is it's a bit of an unusual situation for me. I'm usually on the other side of the jail support situation, rather than being the point of contact on the outside coordinating help for someone who's been arrested unjustly. But it is good to know that I feel like I have a good team behind me, and we have the support that we need at least to get them through this next phase. I will point out, as far as I know, there's been no help from Donald Trump himself for those who followed his marching orders into the Capitol. And it really says something about what a scumbag Donald Trump is, that for the people who had his back, he doesn't have theirs. But if I would say anything to Mr. Trump, it's not just Ed Vallejo. And there are a lot of people who are facing legal consequences right now for what happened on January 6th last year. And if, I would hope for everybody else who's still a Trump supporter, you would support Trump at your own peril. He will not have your back if you get turned into a political football. So, I mean, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that maybe Donald Trump will have a conscience here and come to the aid of our friend Ed Vallejo and Stuart Rhodes and the other January 6th defendants. And while some of them are guilty of real crimes, I will say, as much as I have zero respect for government and government property rights, if you assaulted a cop, yeah, you should be held accountable for that. Absolutely. If you destroy government property, I don't really care. But this is a miscarriage of justice, and all Americans should be concerned for the threat to our democracy when the FBI, a criminal organization, motivated by politics, can take people who are at a protest and say, well, now we're going to charge you with
the FBI, or Joe Biden's personal police force. 33% approval rating? Let's start throwing dissidents in jail, like in Tropico, some banana republic. America, the banana republic.
seditious conspiracy. And first of all, it's absurd to say that what they were doing was sedition anyway, because what they were saying, the whole point of the January 6th rally was, we don't like blue-flavored tyranny or Biden-flavored tyranny. We want to go back to red-flavored tyranny and Trump-flavored tyranny. That's not overthrowing a government. That's just putting a different flavor of bullshit in charge. So the idea that this is sedition to begin with, when they're saying, like, no, we should just have a different president, is on its face absurd. But, and there are worse miscarriages of justice in America every day, with the drug war, with police brutality, with the rich getting richer at the expense of everybody else. But right now, I'm doing this to stand up for my friend Ed, so I hope you'll share this video and spread the awareness so that should he not be released on Thursday, that we're able to get him the support he needs for a much larger legal fight. Finally, if you want to get in touch with me again, Adam at thefreedomline.com. If you want to see about our nonprofit, it is homefrontbattlebuddies.org. And with that, peace and love, y'all. Choose happiness and be excellent to each other.
But again, instead of acknowledging the problems like a responsible entity, the fact that these voting machines can be hacked, that, you know, I've seen the guy hired to see if they're hackable testify before Congress, and he said they can be hacked to make them 4951 however they want and wherever they want. No, let's not address the fact that elections don't matter. And now, the people who were protesting were still stuck in the left-right paradigm. And they're charging them with sedition. They're saying the elections were hacked, which they were, which all of them will be. At least there's reason to believe all of them will be, as long as we use the hackable system, a known hackable system. They're saying, let's not trust the hackable system. They're not saying tear down the government. Sedition is tear down the government. But no, instead of being responsible and looking at the issues, and again, that's operating within the left-right paradigm. I'm sure most of the Oath Keepers, like most people, know that votes have no impact on policy, and that corporate interests run the government. Everybody knows it, and many people are willing to acknowledge it by not voting, or not voting for screen candidates. Rather than taking responsibility, no, we're going to deprive the community of our elders, deprive the community of people who want to see the world be a better place, who want people to honor their oath. Unlike Adam, I do think that the Constitution, even though it was written by racists for racists, can be a beneficial document, you know, simply for the fact that it acknowledges natural right, the natural right for all life. But no, we can't recognize the natural right for all life. We must martyr, imprison, indoctrinate. That's a strategy that will bring us to a better world, according to our leaders. According to common sense, maybe not so much.
Caldwell and most of the others charged with sedition had already been arrested for their role, which included taking part in firearms trading in the lead up to January 6th, stashing guns in an Arlington hotel as part of a quick strike reaction force, and of course, storming the Capitol in that military-style stack formation.
Okay, take two, I guess. I thought my mic was on, but when I checked OBS, it wasn't. I hate take twos. They're not as organic. Because I've already said it's not my true reaction, which is what I'm usually aiming for. True, honest reaction. What I was saying, before I rudely muted myself, was, you know, the media's trying to say that they're using military precision, and that these people who were arrested last week organized it. They had food and weapons for 30 days. Yeah, 2 totes is going to feed all these people for 30 days, right? And look how military disciplined they are with their selfies and texting. And people won't question it. Yeah, wow, such military precision. Oh, now I can't see my mouse. Oh, there we go. Yeah, military precision, folks. They put criminal masterminds behind jail. You know, people who value freedom and oaths. And they're being called anti-government, even though they're the oath keepers. They value their oath to the Constitution of the United States. And people will eat it up. Everybody will eat it up, not question it. Oh yeah, they're anti-government. Of course they're anti-government. What do you mean oath keepers? Oaths don't mean anything. And I think a lot of people, like the frauditor diss video community, they hate the Constitution, and they love that the government doesn't care about the rights guaranteed by the Constitution. They're all for it. Take away my free press, take away my right to keep my person and paper secured. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, take it all away. Take it all away. Guns, please take everyone else's guns away. This is the mentality. They never stop to question. Yeah, the oath keepers hate the government. Right. Believe in, this is the same guy. We want to get